Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Ryan here with Michigan Storm Chasers, giving you guys an update video. We have a lot to talk about. If you didn't catch our late video last night, we apologize. It was very late. We're trying to get back on our daily upload schedule. Just a busy schedule for me yesterday, so I couldn't upload in the morning. So trying to get back on the schedule here. Let's go ahead and dive right back on in. We have a couple things to talk about. If you missed the video last night, we did talk about all three topics. We're going to talk about those again as with updated information, though. So, starting with today, we have an SPC risk map here on your screen. This is going to be for your general severe weather outlook. Areas in light green indicating general thunderstorms that should stay non severe. And dark green is indicating your marginal risk level 1 out of a scale of 5, so a low end risk. It was in Michigan as per last night's SPC outlook, and also the previous days did have that well into Michigan. With the latest trends, though, it has shifted to the south and east, just bordering basically Toledo on the Michigan border there by Monroe County. So the overall expectation today outside of the SPC outlook, looking at models, which we'll do here in a second, most of the storms should fire off to our south and to our east. So the overall concern for severe weather today is quite low. But if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in one of our far southeastern counties like Wayne County, Monroe County, or Lenawee, or perhaps surrounding counties around those areas. That should be the expectation. Although the expectation overall should be no severe weather. If it's going to happen in those general vicinities. All right. Looking at our model for today, looking at the NAM3, we're going to see a few pop-up storms. I'll go ahead and zoom in here for our Michigan look, just to give you guys a better zoomed-in look. There we go. Because the severe risk is in southeast Michigan, we're going to focus over here in this corridor. Run this through the time frame here. Let's go ahead and zoom. There we go. Perfect. So looking at the afternoon and evening, we have some scattered showers across the state. There is your storms this afternoon there. We see how they're well displaced into Ohio. But notice we have some pop-ups there across Lenawee, Monroe, Hillsdale, back through Cass and St. Joseph County as well. Those should not be severe, but very well could produce lightning. General thunderstorms is the expectation. This is at 3 p.m. today. Looking at the 4 p.m., then we go to 5 p.m. We have some more pop-ups there within the vicinity. Again, none of these should be severe, but if anything were to pop up and become severe, the better environment is off to our south and east. So the further south you are in Michigan, and the farthest east you are, so again, Monroe, Lenawee, Wayne counties especially, you guys would be under the gun for perhaps a stronger storm or two. We'll watch it close, although we don't expect anything to come of that. If anything does happen out of that, damaging winds is your primary concern. We shouldn't be concerned today for hail or anything tornadic at all. All right. Overall, across other portions of the state, taking back our Midwest look, and of course, I butcher that and go to the Northwest. Let's go to the Midwest. There we go. Looking at the overall forecast, we do have some pop-ups expected in the UP as well. These, again, should not be severe. Just general thunderstorms for you today across the general thunderstorm category area. Now, again, as always, if anything does happen to go severe today, it's not expected to, but we'll be here tracking it live here on Facebook and on YouTube at Michigan Storm Chasers. So feel free to tune in if you'd like. Looking at July 4th now, let's go ahead and switch gears to the holiday. I know a lot of people asking, we got fireworks planned, we got to go to the show, we got a cookout, yada, yada, yada. So the overall consensus for tomorrow is, yes, there is a chance for thunderstorms here, especially in the light green shaded areas. So all the UP, northern lower, southern lower, but there's a pretty big gap there from Flint to Mount Pleasant where you see no coloration. It's just a white grayish color there. That indicates no general thunderstorms are expected. Light green areas do have that general thunderstorm risk, but I will say this. The models are trending a little bit drier. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the NAM3 once again. The NAM3 model, moving this into overnight, into Thursday, into Friday morning. We talked about this last night. We have some shower activity in the southern part of the state that does look to be weaker and shifted a little bit further south there, but it's also pushing and trending a bit later in the afternoon as well. So if you caught our video last night, we mentioned the potential for some showers early morning into early to late morning into perhaps early afternoon before it clears out. This model here is at 2 p.m. We have some showers showing up very close to the Michigan border. Those shouldn't be too big of a concern. Overall, this model does remain dry for a majority of the state. Here we go into the evening hours, 7 p.m. 8 p.m., we see some scattered showers up there in the western part of the UP, close to it at least. And then as the evening goes on, though, as we get toward that sunset and after time frame, we're going to have a cap in place tomorrow on the atmosphere. So that should limit overall thunderstorm activity. But with the sun going down, when the atmosphere cools, that cap usually weakens. So if anything's going to pop up, it'd be likely toward or after the sunset time frame. Although right now it is a low chance of that happening. We should be dry for the majority of the day with peaks of sunshine among all the clouds. Looking at the cloud cover map, we do have a couple of things to talk about with that as well. Pop over the HRRR model and take a Midwest look at that real quick. Bear with me. We do have a couple areas here that may break out into some sun. Let's go ahead and run this through. So black is indicating clear skies and white is indicating clouds. This is for today. Zoom into overnight. Here is tomorrow, July 4th. We have a couple areas here that could see breaks in the clouds, but I will say cloud cover will be the dominant feature tomorrow when you look up into the sky. So expect broken cloud cover in spots, but because of that cloud cover, our high temperatures should be held right around the low 80s, 82, 83 for a majority of us. Further north you are, and if you're close to a lake shore, it'd be a little bit cooler by natural occurrences here in Michigan. But overall, right around that 82, 83-ish mark for a majority of us here within lower Michigan. Expect mostly cloudy conditions, but don't be shocked. We have some sun peeking through throughout the afternoon and evening. And as we get closer to the evening, those clouds should break up. As we get towards sunset, we'll have more in the way of cloudy skies, should I say clearer skies to deal with as well. So overall, it should not be a washout for your July 4th, but do prepare just in case. We do have a chance for some pop-up showers and storms, especially I'm going to say toward the evening time frame, about sunset. And especially in those light green shaded areas from the UP, northern lower and southern lower. And also keep in mind some showers in the early to late morning, perhaps very early afternoon hours along the 94 corridor. Still possible for you guys there in South Michigan, although that's trending in a way to stay weaker or perhaps not going to happen at all, and also a little bit later if it were to happen. All right. Now, a big topic of discussion since our Sunday night weekly live stream has been the system on Friday. Currently, from the SPC, the entire state is within a general thunderstorm risk category, but there is no current severe risk for the Michigan at all. It is displaced into Ohio, well off into Ohio. But with current updated guidance here, the current thinking is that's going to change as this low pressure moves. We have one model that we have out right now at long range. It's called the NAM3. We used it for today and also tomorrow's forecast. The NAM3 is also keying in on this risk as well. So let's go ahead and run this through the overlap of wind shear as well as instability. So that's your two main ingredients, should I say, for severe weather. Of course, we have lift, we have moisture, we have a couple other things to forecast. This is just a general idea of where it could have the better environment. So let's go ahead and zoom in here to our lower Michigan look here, because it's going to be probably centered over lower Michigan. So here we go. There's Michigan, overlapped here with wind barbs, which is the wind direction. Move this through the time frame here. The coloration is showing you where the overlap of wind shear instability is going to be. As we get into the Friday time frame here, I need to go to the NAM3, guys. I am on the HRRR still. I apologize. I knew that looked kind of weird. Hold on. Bear with me. Forgot I changed over to that. There we go. Let's go ahead and flip over here to our composite, should I say. All right, here we go. Here is the NAM3. Your coloration here at the bottom is your bar. The greens, grays, and lighter greens there, perhaps yellows as well, on the lower end of the spectrum. And then we get to the oranges, reds, and purples, pinks, and aquas. That's your higher end environment. So moving this through the time frame here into Friday afternoon, here is that environment across lower Michigan. Notice we have those oranges, yellows, and reds at a widespread basis here. That's at 2 p.m. Friday, and then that's going to push eastward with time, and then it should weaken out as we get towards sunset. So I will go ahead and preface this by saying the NAM3 model is one of those models that you kind of have to look at with a grain of salt because it overdoes a lot of things a lot of the time. So I want to go ahead and highlight, yes, we do have a system. It's a low pressure system moving through on Friday. That's shown here by the NAM3, the NAM12, which is a regular NAM. It's shown by the GFS, the Euro, the RDPS. We have a lot of models showing us we're going to have a system working through. The big question mark here, and this goes for severe weather as well, is how much are we going to destabilize the atmosphere? All right. That is the big question mark. The system is pretty well sheared. It's going to happen likely. We're going to have rain at the very least across portions of the state. The severe risk is going to be highly dependent on the amount of moisture, the amount of lift, and the amount of instability we're going to build in here. So we have the shear in place from the low pressure. The shear is really good too. Right now, we're going to advertise a low end severe chance here for lower Michigan, especially points eastward. We're going to go ahead and divide the state in half from about Lansing up to Gaylord, up to Mackinac, down to the border of Indiana/Ohio, right down the middle. The eastern half has a better chance right now of severe weather, although wouldn't be shocked that shifts back to the west just a bit. Overall, though, the environment, according to this model, does appear to be quite conducive for severe weather, with just a few things missing here. It would warrant the mention of damaging winds. Large hail should not be too much of a concern, but the wind shear for Friday does concern us. If everything comes together, as in your instability, moisture, etc., we could be talking about a few tornadoes as well, given the wind shear looks pretty well. It's directional shear as well as speed shear. So it's going to warrant mention of some watching here as well as we get toward Friday. So looking at the NAM3's model really quickly here, and again, take this with a grain of salt. This probably is a little bit overdone, but we're going to mention it just in case, or just to get you guys aware. You're going to have more models coming out soon. As we get into Friday here, here's your potential radar look, and it's going to be popping up these storms. There we go. There's our line we're going to watch here across much of lower Michigan. It develops right around 2 p.m. It's going to mature as it moves eastward. And as it reaches the central eastern portions of the state, some of these look pretty nasty here, pushing across eastern portions of the state. Now, again, the NAM3 likes to overdo things. We're going to wait for the HRRR, the RRFS, the FV3. We have a plethora of models to look at. This is just the first one coming out here. So take with a grain of salt. The severe chance does appear to be there for Friday afternoon and evening, although dominoes still have to fall correctly to get that to happen. All right. We'll see if SPC will update the day 2 outlook here. It comes out at 2 a.m. tonight, which should be July 4th, early July 4th morning. So by the time you guys wake up, if there's a severe risk, we'll be having it posted on the page. But otherwise, you guys have an excellent week. And one more thing I want to mention here as well as we end this video is we just released our limited edition merchandise that was around last year for July 4th. You can find that on our merchandise store, helicity.co. It's right there on your screen, the bar banner at the bottom of the screen there. Support the channel by shopping, helicity.co. You should see a tab for Michigan Storm Chasers. If you're interested, we have the hoodies and t-shirts back, limited edition, July 4th. You'll see the flag, the logo is redone as a patriotic logo. Feel free if you want to buy one. They're on there for your purchase. Of course, totally optional. Does support us here. So whatever you do, decide whether it's just liking the video or you want to go buy a t-shirt. We appreciate each and every one of you and all of you who do watch, like, and share these videos. All right. With that being said, I know it's a longer video today. Apologize for that, but we had a lot to talk about. So we'll be back on here likely tomorrow morning on July 4th to give you guys an update as to how the day is looking and also a look into how Friday is trending as well. You guys stay safe. Have a great holiday if I don't see you guys again. As always, thank you for watching Michigan Storm Chasers.